It's a matter of opinion if I'm right, but I'm leaving no for now to go outside, putting chores and obligations on our pride. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P.
This your girl Erica.
Now, today's episode, we got a controversial topic. Before we get into it, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell. And don't forget to like, share amongst your friends. And if you want to follow us on our other social media platforms, the links are in the description. That includes our Facebook group, our Discord, our locals. Everything's in the description. Today's topic is about a story out in Florida. A teacher was arrested for allegedly blasting music during a FSA testing. And I know you're real big on education, so I know this is gonna definitely touch some, definitely get you riled up a bit. So let me pull up this article for you guys. So right here, Florida teacher arrested for allegedly blasting music during essay testing. And that's the gentleman right here. A Central Florida teacher has been arrested for allegedly blasting music and disrupting state testing in his classroom. Martin Reese posted a live stream of the entire thing on Instagram on Tuesday. Now, I was looking for that live stream, but it's scrubbed off the internet. If somebody know where it's at, definitely drop it in the comment section and let us know. The Creek Middle School art teacher said he does not like FSA testing. He said he recorded the 50-minute long video knowing that he was going to be fired for it. Creekside Middle in Port Orange was briefly placed on lockdown while Volusia County Sheriff's deputies took Reese into custody. Now, one thing to point out is when he was being taken into custody and the cops approached him and they was asking him what was his reasoning, he didn't tell the police officers what was his reasoning because he didn't want his words to be misconstrued. It is unclear if the student were able to finish the test. Reese was charged for disrupting a school function and disorderly conduct. He has since bonded out of jail. Now, his reason for doing this was because he felt after the students had 2-3 years of out of school learning, it was unfair for them to take this to these standardized testing. So he blasted the music just to disrupt the children. So if enough of them complained, they would have to retake the test, giving them more time to prepare for the test. So that was his premises of why he did so. And on top of that, he said next year they plan on doing away with the test anyway. Governor DeSantis signed the bill where the FSA, according to the governor, will be replaced with the Florida Assessment of Student Thinking, and it's abbreviated to FAST. So Florida Assessment of Student Thinking. The governor said the FAST will take place 3 times a year with tests that will take hours versus days, and added that it will monitor student progress and foster individual growth. So with that being said, do you feel that this man was wrong doing what he did?
I do. And the reason I feel like he's wrong because there are things that the school could have put in place if they felt like they didn't want to do the testing right now. They could have delayed the testing because most cities, states have ways where they could either apply to either delay the test a little bit longer to give the kids time to catch up. They could have done a abbreviated version of the test, meaning they could have requested a shorter test for the kids where you're only testing on certain things instead of taking the full test. Unfortunately, you cannot say, yeah, well, guess what? The test is going to no longer be used because when the governor votes on it, you don't know if it's something that's going to be immediate starting the next school year or if
No,
it's
it is
something that
starting next year. It's
no, but
starting
that's
next
what I'm
year. It's yeah.
correct. But when this happened, it was not done yet.
No,
So
he
that
knew. He
oh, the
knew. He
teacher knew.
knew this
Okay,
was going to be done. Yeah, he knew. That's why he said one of the main things, his main talking points was this test was going to be done away with after this year anyway. So, what was the point of taking this test? That was one of the things like he said when he was speaking about it.
correct. But the problem is those kids are no longer going to be in that grade. So if whatever, regardless, that test is for the grade that they're in. So imagine if those are seventh graders going to eighth grade. You're no longer going to be tested on that type of standard anymore because when you go to high school, it is a different type of standard. Now, it's the difference if you're going, hey, they're third graders and come in the fourth grade, you're going to get a different set of tests. But that's like any kid that transfers from one school to another. If you're going from, let's say, a New Jersey public school over to a New Jersey Catholic school, or a New Jersey charter. There's all different types of tests that they have to take. So it doesn't matter if it's, the Florida State test or something different. They still have to learn those skills to take a standardized test. It's not like they said, "Hey, you're no longer going to have to take a standardized test ever again." That's not the case. It's just a different type of test the next time around.
See, I agree with what he did on the premises, but the thing I dislike was he did it with the strength of him getting arrested, so to speak, for doing some misdemeanor crimes or whatever. But the premises of what he did, I agree with it 100%. For you to have these kids who came from 2 years of COVID impeding their learning the way they're supposed to go, the way they're supposed to learn, and then they go and taking a standardized test, to me, that makes absolutely no sense. And here's the thing, the reason why I look at it too as what he did was actually awesome is because, see, these standardized tests, they got it backwards. The schools that do well get extra funding, but the schools that do bad, they get underfunded. Where it should be reversed. If the students are doing bad, you should give more funding to that school so that they can hire the proper teachers, have the proper programs and stuff like this to actually help those students excel. So now these kids are fresh off of 2 years from COVID, which everybody know when it came from their student, like their kids going back into school, the difference as far as like seeing where they are as opposed to if they was in class learning. Every parent and their mama noticed the difference or whatever.
Mm.
So now for them to
It
take,
depends. I'm
okay.
gonna cut you off on that point. It depends on what kind of school that child went to, and I'm gonna tell you this just based off
Hmm.
the type of school that my kid went to. My kid did online learning for 2 years, legit learning. Like teacher came in, taught the class like you were sitting in a classroom. You still had your assignments that had to be done through the computer, but that was chargeable teaching compared to you being in a public school where they just gave you the stuff on video and made your child do what they wanted to do. So it depends on where you are. Matter of fact, my kid also did standardized testing from home. School laptop, you logged in at the time that you were supposed to. So no, not everybody didn't do testing
That
during that 2 year break.
not every child has the luxury of being able to learn like at peak performance when it comes to learning remotely as opposed to being in school. You have plenty of situations where the kid were doing their school remotely, but then when it came to going back and starting to do homework, writing, and all this other stuff, it was a problem for them, for a lot of these young kids. So I get that part of it, but that's not equal on all playing fields. I just don't feel it's right for you to throw these kids into the rigors of testing and they didn't get a full year back under their belt as far as in class learning and stuff like that. And again, like they said, if they're going to do away with this testing anyway, how is this going to actually help the child, so to speak? Because by the time you get these results and stuff in, it's going to be summertime, school is already done with, and everything like that. So how exactly is these schools going to help these kids, especially if that child is moving on to another school? Because this is middle school. So let's just say if that child is in 8th grade or something like that, how is that going to help when they move on to high school? Do they transfer these results to the high school and stuff like that? Those are the things I want to know.
Okay, so usually when you do standardized tests, you get the results before the end of the school year. They'll give you a printout going, your kid fits in this percentile, and it'll tell you where their weaknesses and their strengths are. So it's something that, yes, they're definitely going to get the results back before school. You're talking this is April. They probably get out end of May, beginning of June, like most schools in the South. So yes, by then they'll have the information readily available. You know, the kids' parents a lot of times will look at these results. Some of them be like, "All right, to heck with it. It is what it is. You did your best. Okay, keep it moving." You have other people who look at those results on like the school level, and like you said, yes, that'll dictate what kind of funding the school will get based off of the percentage of where those the kids fall. But it also will help the school figure out where their strong suits and their weaknesses are too. So yes, I get COVID coming in after, 2 years of not really being in school full time, having to do hybrids, that type of stuff. Yes, that should affect those results in one way or another. But it'll also give that school something to start going forward. Because think about it, right now the schools are still open. The school, the kids are still going to have to progress from one grade to the other. So we'll give the school something else to focus on starting the next
Here's
school
my
year.
thing. Here's my thing. Because like I said, I still like that still didn't answer if a child is going from 8th grade to 9th grade, which is probably a different school. Let's just say it's a different school, whatever. But we can get into that. We can get into that in a bit later. Here's my thing where I'm at with it. What is wrong with him basically protesting, because that is a protest, him protesting in a non-violent way for what he believes is right for the children?
You have to
Because in a
think about it.
case
He's
like
only
this,
doing that for one class, though. It'd have been different if the whole school
no,
was
he did it the
challenging
whole
it.
school. He did it for the whole school. He
Correct,
blasted music
but
through the whole school.
correct. He might have blasted music through the whole school, but guess what? Everybody else was still administering the test. So if you didn't get the whole school behind you to rally this test, it's not going to create any change. It's one
Well,
teacher
here's
that
the
got
thing,
locked up.
but it made the school stop taking the test for that amount of time because the school went into lockdown.
Correct. But I guarantee a lot of these times when you have a test, they have a makeup day. So that one day of disruption probably just pushed their test from being administered Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to now being administered Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So you mean to tell me if their grades come up bad, they're not going to ask to retake the test, which basically accomplished what he wanted from the get go?
No, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just re-administer that one portion. Think about it. He only did it one day. It's the difference if
No,
he
but
did it the whole time that they were testing.
what I'm saying, these are kids we're talking about. So if it's kids, you mean to tell me they can't be like, oh, the kids were frazzled or whatever the case may be, and wind up retaking the tests?
What I'm saying is one of two things will happen. Either the school will dictate, hey, we got to do a clean sweep and everybody will go back into testing next week if the school deemed that possible. I don't know because I didn't hear about this case. So I can't go and look and see, hey, let me go look up the school and see what they did.
No, but what I'm saying is it still accomplished what he was trying to accomplish. He caused disruption. So if it's in a case where they got to retake the test, so to speak, I don't care if it's a retake this day or that day. He still basically accomplished what he was trying to accomplish by protesting in a nonviolent manner. Isn't that what the case of a protest is for?
It is, but I guess my thing is it didn't prevent them from having to take it this year. It's one thing if he did it to the point where they could not take that test this year,
Well,
and then they
his,
had to just take the next one.
his
Those kids are
premises
still taking that test.
But that wasn't his premises. His premises was it's fine if they take the test, but let them take it later. Like they didn't have his whole feeling was they didn't have time to prepare. And for them to come fresh off what you call fresh off, homeschool learning and now coming into in-person learning and now taking this test, he felt that the time that they had was not deemed right in his eyes.
Correct. But what I'm saying is those kids probably still took that test a day or two later.
For me, my thing is even if they took the test and the results come back negative or bad, they still have a loophole to retake the test because of his actions. That's the way I look at it. And he did a peaceful protest where nobody got hurt.
I guess the downside for me is it's like, okay, you're doing this because of what? In general, the school itself could have done so much more for the kids, not just this one teacher. One teacher does not change the fact that the rest of school is taking this test. One teacher standing up for a test that is about to be null and voided the following year is doing nothing. It would have made more sense if the parents of these kids protested, if all of the teachers band together and protested, if all of the schools in that school district protested. That one teacher is not preventing the rest of the people in that Florida area from taking that test. I felt like it would have resonated more if he had more support behind him.
Well,
You
he
didn't
didn't
have
care
the
about it.
school support behind you. Because if
Not
you had
but
the
he,
school support behind you, you would not have gotten arrested.
That's true, but hey, sometimes it takes that one individual to do actions where he knows there's going to be consequences because he was ready for it. Like, look at in history, look at the whole Rosa Parks situation. She knew there was going to be consequences for what she did, but she stood with her convictions and what she believed in. So I get what you're saying. The school could have did this, but if he seen that he was trying to bring awareness and it wasn't being taken seriously, then he did what he felt was right for the kids. I can't be mad at that.
I'm the opposite. I felt like he did a disservice to all of the kids that was there that day.
All right, we agree to disagree. Let's see what the people in the comment section think. Let us know what you think in the comment section on was this teacher justified for what he did or do you feel he was wrong for his actions? We would love to hear your take and have an open conversation about it. Anything you want to add in before we let these people go, Miss Erica P?
Nope, I'm good. Thank thank you for watching this episode.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's going to do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. We will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Hey.
It's a matter of opinion.